Good day, fellow champions of inclusion. I am A. Ron, and this is the Inclusive Dad Podcast, where we explore inclusion and make it practical. Recently, I came across a question on Facebook where the parent had asked about whether other parents were able to visit their child in the special education class. Um, so the answers were mixed. Some said they were able to, while others said no because of privacy and safety issues. This is not the first time I've heard where parents have not been allowed to visit their child in the special education classroom, unfortunately. For me, my daughter, I was always able to visit her at school. She is almost 22. So when I was visiting her, she was, in elementary, probably middle school, a little bit in high school, but it's been a few years since I, attempted to visit her in school. So what reasons did they give? So from what most parents were saying, and what I've heard before too, is it's privacy and safety are primarily the two reasons. And under the privacy, it's often claimed FERPA. So FERPA is the acronym for the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. It's a law, 1974 law that governs the access to educational information and records. So what parents are being told is that because of privacy, you can't go into the special education room because they can't disclose information about the other educational information about the other students, to you as a parent. So I looked this up on the internet. This clip here is from a Minnesota Department of Education website. I will put the link in the show notes. I live in Minnesota. So your state might have slightly different interpretation, but this is what Minnesota's interpretation is that I found on their website. So it states the U.S. Department of Education has long stated that FERPA neither requires schools to nor prohibits them from allowing a parent access to the classroom to observe their child. The reasoning is that FERPA's requirement to protect private data applies to information either in or derived from the student's education record. An educator may not disclose that information to other students, parents, or professionals in the classroom, but information about students that is based on what is happening more generally in the classroom is not necessarily subject to FERPA because it does not come from the student's education record. Therefore, whether a parent may observe a classroom setting is a local decision, and educators should follow their local guidance about whether it is okay for parents to be present during a group education session. So as you heard, it's FERPA covers information in or derived from the student's education record. And in most instances, you, parent or a person being in a classroom, the teacher isn't going to be disclosing that information publicly anyway. So that's where it doesn't apply. There's also another great article I read on the internet about this. It goes into way more detail about federal laws and stuff from OSEP, guidance letters and such as well. I will also link that in the show notes. So the privacy thing is not accurate from what I can see. Second thing, the reason they give is safety. Now I fully agree the district can and should have policies in place to keep all students safe, regardless if the child is in special education, classroom, general education, anywhere in the school, building on the facilities. And as a parent of a child in special education, part of their time, I feel I should follow those just like any other visitor should. I want my child to be safe. I want all the children and staff to be safe, so there should be policies in place. However, the policy should not be written in a way that does not they should be written in a way that does not discriminate against parents of children in special education. So if I'm able to go visit my child's school and go visit them in a general education classroom, I should also be able to do that in a special education classroom. And if I'm not, that's considered discrimination. So those are the reasons I've come across where parents have not been allowed to go visit their child in special education. So just personally for me, if my child, whether they're in special education or general education, is in a place where I cannot visit them, My child isn't going to be going there. I mean, I don't feel that there should be a spot, especially when my child's a minor, where I can't go visit them. So personally, for me, that's where I draw the line. I mean, how do I know that it's set up for her needs if I'm not allowed to go there and visit? I mean, I have visited classrooms, like I said. She uses a wheelchair. There weren't handicap accessible tables or desks in there. How am I going to know that if I didn't go and look myself? Also, how do I know that it's safe for her? How do I know she is safe in that spot if I'm not able to see it as well? The other thing I want to talk about is in IDA, the federal law about special education. Parents are listed first in the list of IEP required IEP team members. So parents are viewed as an important piece of their child's IEP team. And in order for me to participate as a parent in my daughter's IEP meeting, I need to have the same information everybody else does, including knowing, what the rooms look like, anything like that, where she's going to be throughout the day. How do I, as a parent, show up to a meeting talking about, the IEP goals, accommodations, modifications, the setting she's going to be in if I have no idea what the classroom looks like or the location she's going to be receiving services in looks like. I can't make an informed decision if I don't have all the information, just like everybody else. So, what should you do if you request to visit your child's special education or general education room and you're denied access? I mean, first of all, I would request the policy. If they're denying you the ability to see your child, visit them, ask why. I mean, what's the reason? If there isn't a policy, that would be a red flag also, and I'd probably go up the chain, the person above whoever is telling you you can't visit. And then, like I said before, if you're able to visit them in general education but not special education, that's discrimination. File a complaint with the Office of Civil Rights. So just, and I also, I mean, I'm reasonable if, I want to visit my child in special education and, um, there's times they're taking a test. There's times where it's, a quiet time where me being in there would be a disruption. I mean, I want to respect that as well. I mean, so if the only time I can go in there is when, some other people aren't in there or whatever, I mean, work with your school to make a time where it works for everybody as well. So, just wanted to jump on today, record this episode just to talk a little bit about that. To all of you listening, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Inclusive Dad Podcast. Please share this and let me know what your experience has been. Have you been able to visit your child in the classroom? Have you not been able to? Just share that experience with me. You can reach out, either comment with I share this on social media, or reach out and email me, Aaron at theinclusivedad.com. I'd love to hear how this has affected you. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, please subscribe, rate, or review the show. Your feedback helps us connect with more champions of inclusion. Remember to share this podcast with friends and family who might benefit. If you want to support us in our mission, please click on the link in the show description. Together, we can make the world more inclusive. Until next time, stay empowered and be a champion for inclusion.